Welcome to Linking to the Patriot, the final pension payment voucher. My name is Bryna O'Sullivan, and I'm a Middletown, Connecticut-based professional genealogist and French to English genealogical translator. One of my focuses or interest topics is the American Revolution and the application process for the Revolutionary War lineage societies, such as Daughters of the American Revolution, Sons of the American Revolution, Sons of the Revolution, and more. One of the major issues that we face when we're researching Revolutionary War ancestors is often making the connection between the family's Revolutionary War veteran and the generation that followed. It's typically due to a records gap. Sometimes the weakest record period is the late 18th or very early 19th century, particularly if the family went, say, from Connecticut to New York right after the American Revolution. However, there is a source that can help. That source was created as a result of the 1832 Pension Act, specifically this clause, which describes Revolutionary War veterans who received a pension from the federal government. And in the case of the death of any person embraced by the provisions of this act, or of the act to which it is supplementary, during the period intervening between the semi-annual payments directed to be made by said acts, the proportionate amount of pay which shall accrue between the last preceding semi-annual payment and the death of such person shall be paid to his widow, or if you leave no widow, to his children. In other words, if the Revolutionary War veteran who was receiving a pension died after a payment had been made, and there was money still due to that pensioner, payment of that money could be made to the widow or children of the pensioner. That's our connection or supporting documentation. The final pension payment voucher contains the paperwork that was used to apply for that final payment. Applicants needed to, quote unquote, prove that they were entitled to the payment. So the application might contain a list of heirs, support from the probate court, details on the date of death, information on when the pension was last paid out, and more. Not every application is going to provide information on family. Particularly in the Revolutionary War period, people used something called pension agents. Pension agents handled, for a fee, the process of applying for and receiving a pension. Some individuals signed that final payment over to the pension agent so that they could receive it instead of the family. If the final pension payment was signed over to the pension agent, the application might have been completed by the agent. However, many families did the pension applications themselves, and in those cases, you may find information on a widow, a full list of surviving children, and more. How do you access the final pension payment vouchers? Well, as of right now, we have a little bit of a stopping block. As of spring 2024, the National Archives website indicates that the series is currently closed for digitization. However, some of the vouchers have already been digitized. Vouchers for Delaware and Georgia have been digitized and are available on the genealogical website Fold 3. How would you normally access the records if the series were not closed? You would start by searching a publication called The Index to Selected Final Payment Vouchers, 1818 to 1864. This index is available on Fold 3 and also with a less effective search, unfortunately, in the National Archives catalog. A star in the upper left corner of the index card tells us that a file or a voucher is available. These files or vouchers are organized by the individual's residence at their time of death. Here's an example. This is the index card for Jacob Janvier, whose last payment occurred in the September 1842 period from Delaware. This was taken from the National Archives catalog, and you'll note the star in the upper left corner indicating that a voucher should exist. So we would then go look for the digitized vouchers because that last index card referred to Delaware and the vouchers were supposed to have been digitized. Both Delaware and Georgia's vouchers have purportedly been digitized by Fold 3. Delaware's vouchers are under the title U.S. final payment vouchers, Delaware, 1818 to 1864. Georgia's are under a similar title for Georgia. However, the voucher we indicated is actually not in the Delaware collection. Looks like Delaware may have only been partially digitized and would need to be requested from the National Archives when the series reopens. But what is in these vouchers? Well, here's an example. This is a partially obscured image that indicates a list of children, including Joseph Atkins, William Atkins, and Nancy Strickland, for Frances Atkins, a widow. So these are the children of Frances Atkins, the widow of James Atkins, James being the Revolutionary War veteran, applying for the final payment of her pension. This gives us a good documentation of the entire family structure. So what do you do if the voucher's not online? Well, we indicated that Georgia and Delaware currently have been at least partially digitized and are available from Fold 3. If you do find an index card with that star and it's from a state that has yet to be digitized, when the series is open, you can request the records from the National Archives or from a genealogist doing retrievals at the National Archives. Here are a few of the sources you can use to learn more. There's a web page on the National Archives website entitled Revolutionary War Final Pension Payment Vouchers, and there's a great article called Follow the Money, Tracking Revolutionary War Army Pension Payments. These vouchers are great resources, particularly in that tough to document first generation after the American Revolution. And they can help us make parent-child connections that we cannot otherwise make because these families may not have had direct land sales or probate. Best of luck in your research.